Oh, that does not look good. Wait, oh, wait. That's not even fully updated yet. Dude, you're losing over 1.1 million players in less than a month. This escalated quickly. All right, so unless you've been living under an actual rock, you've probably heard about Honkai Star Rail's shortcomings over the last, 6 months or so. Whether it's power creep, asterisk, global passives, HP inflation, or the fact that your mom keeps calling me consistently every single Saturday night between the hours of 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. The point is, a lot of Honkai Star Rail players have threatened to quit if things continue going this route, or they've already quit already. Now, I did cover this subject over a month ago, and boy, has there been some developments since then. So this is essentially the part 2 of the series, because players don't all quit at once most of the time with a situation like this. It usually happens over a long period of time, so this is us following up. So obviously in this video we'll be comparing some of the new data and how many more players seemingly aren't playing Honkai Star Rail anymore, as well as comparing it to the old data we had before and speculating on how things look for Honkai Star Rail going forward. Now let's stop messing around and get into this thing. But first, if you like this kind of stuff, consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out, and we just hit 10k subscribers, first milestone for the channel, but we stay on that grind, son. Now let's get into it. Alright, so here we are at activeplayer.io for Honkai Star Rail. This will show us the live player count and statistics for the game. We're going to be taking a look, of course, at the quick stats, a bunch of different charts and stuff. This stuff looks intimidating at first glance, but trust me, it's super duper easy. We'll be going over all of it without any issues. Alright, so let's start off here at the top, going over a few things, including this 1.1 million players that seemingly have stopped playing the game and how that's calculated, all that stuff, etc., etc. By the way, I apologize for my voice. I came back from a trip very, very sick. That's why I've been gone for such a long time. Anyways, let's move on. All right, so first of all, most important thing, in order to make a green number, a green player on this graph, on these charts, on these tables, all you have to do is have a player log in one single time. One single time over an entire month, and they will show up as a green number. It is so easy to get a green number on this chart. You could trip, fall, accidentally log into the game and make a green number on this chart. In order to make a red number on this chart, it's much harder. The player has to not log in for an entire month. No memory of chaos, no logging in for the anniversary rewards, no nothing, okay? It is much harder to make a red number on this month, so the fact that we saw such a big change over the last 30 days is crazy. All right, so what that minus 1.1 million actually means is that is 1.1 million less players logging in than normal. That's a pretty good sign that players are quitting the game, or that they haven't played for over a month. That's kind of the same thing, that they've at least temporarily stopped playing. Now, in the same vein, Honkai Star Rail still has 19 million active players over the last 30 days. That's a nice little cushion, isn't it? I don't think the game's exactly going to die anytime soon. Well, the worry has never been that the game is gonna just die overnight, right? The worry has always been that with recent developments in Honkai Star Rail, this is going to be the slow depreciation of the value of the game. The fun that we have in the game is going to slowly start to dwindle more and more, and players will slowly, over a long period of time, start to quit the game, and many players are just getting a head start and leaving now. Now, this chart here, we're just going to go ahead and skip because this one's a bit more confusing for people to understand if they haven't been looking at this stuff for a while. All right, so what you're looking at here is the entire timeline of Honkai Star Rail. You're going to see green months, you're going to see red months. The game goes through ups and downs. It's only natural. Last time in the previous video when we were here, we analyzed all of these different months, all the different trends, everything going on in the game to find out why in the month of March of 2025, it was actually weird to see a negative month. Now, in the last video, I said this red month right here of March of 2025 should have been probably a green month, but it's red. and that's probably the start of worse things to come. Most people in that video agreed with me. The naysayers, of course, didn't. And for the naysayers, how does that extra 1 million players not playing the game feel right now? Oh boy, did that feel good. Oh boy. Something, though, important to be aware of here. The month of March, fully calculated. The month of April, however, is not fully calculated. And this last 30 days number will not be updated until April is fully calculated in probably like a couple of weeks or so. So just keep that in mind, that this is not all of April's numbers. This could change, this could go up, it could go down. Now that's important to say because April was the start of the anniversary patch. So all of these red numbers, they might turn green by the end of the month because what did Honkai Star Rail do for the anniversary? Well, they know players were upset with the developers. They know they haven't been feeling very good with the game. So what did they do? Look at this shiny new toy. Look at this 5-star. Look at that 5-star. Look at these pulls. How about those pulls over there? Look at this spending event where if you spend $250, you'll get free shit in the game. Bro, they put all of these dazzling, like, cute little red ribbons and sparkly lighters and stuff like that on everything just to make us forget about the fact that the game has not been doing so well lately. And here's the thing. It works! Bro, it works on people that even know that it is happening. There will be people that the patch drops, and the first thing that happened in the anniversary patch once you start it is that it immediately does this cute little animation with Casterus, right? It says, "Hi, my name is Casterus, and I like anal, and I would like if you pulled me," then immediately takes you to the pull screen so that you can pull your waifu. Then it bombards you with like 7 million different notifications of like, hey, this thing's free, that thing's free, that thing's cool, you gotta pay for that thing. Oh boy, you really gotta pay for that thing? But boy, it gives you free stuff too. Is it really free stuff if you had to pay for it though? Not really. People will somehow dredge through the notification wall at the start of the anniversary, then go into like their friend groups and be like, man, the game's getting predatory. Anyways, thank God they reset the rewards in the in-game shop so that I could get more pulls whenever I pay $100 in the game now. Anyways, how many of you guys have E2S1 Casterus now, right? Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that players are going to be returning to the game that had already said they're gonna quit or even already uninstalled the game. I know people that actually uninstalled and haven't played for like months, but they're gonna come back to the game so that they can collect the anniversary rewards at least, and then maybe quit the game again. But how much you wanna bet they come back to the game, they get all this free stuff, and then it's too much. They can't prevent themselves from pulling in the game, playing the new patch, doing the new stuff, and all of a sudden they're playing Honkai Star Rail again. So what I'm basically saying is that despite the fact that a lot of players did actually follow through and quit the game, there's a lot of people that probably aren't gonna follow through and do that. People that said they were gonna quit once stuff was confirmed, but then the anniversary rewards dropped and then they changed their mind, or players that had already quit many months before, don't even know about these passives or none of this other stuff. They just came back because they heard about the anniversary rewards. They want to pull their free Ron May or whatever, and then they might leave later. Who knows? Maybe they stay. And to conclude this point that I've been on for way too long, you would expect to probably see another red month for April once this chart updates. However, I would not be surprised if we don't actually see that. I wouldn't be surprised if the month remains neutral or even grows into a green month because of all the anniversary rewards coming to us in April. But going even further, I think probably May or even June would be a better month to take a look at once all the hype has kind of died down and we start to go into the second half of Amphurius, where we finally see what Hoyo has been cooking in the second half. Will the story intrigue people to continue playing? Will it be enough to keep players playing after the anniversary reward buff falls off? Or will this trend of negative numbers continue after the honeymoon phase of the anniversary is over? If I had to make a prediction for how things will go forward with Honkai Star Rail in the short term as well as the long term, I think in the short term you'll probably see another more neutral month, or not so negative of a month in April, maybe May, but then eventually you'll start to see some negative months for Honkai Star Rail start to creep back up again once the flashing lights and bells and whistles of the anniversary hype has started to sort of die down. The global passives aren't going anywhere. We're going to end up seeing more of them. The type of predatory practices that Honkai Star Rail has used up to this point have only sort of started to grow, and so this is not good for the game long term. Does that mean the game's gonna die? No. Does that mean the game isn't worth still playing? Not necessarily. It just means that the game won't be as good as it used to be in the long run, and that's not gonna be enough to keep a lot of people around. Hoyoverse has already planned out a series of cool things to try to keep players coming back. Again, all you have to do is log in one time for the month to show up as a green number on a chart like this. So, when they eventually give us that free 5-star they mentioned that they didn't tell us who it was going to be, guess what? Whenever that happens, people are going to log back in that haven't played the game in months, okay? When they drop just a bunch of free stuff on us randomly, all they have to do is give us a reason to log in once every month, and they will continue to make it seem like the game is doing very, very well, even if the game has slowly started to lose its player base. So we'll return to this subject once again, once the anniversary hype and all that kind of stuff has died down, and things are a little bit more normalized and neutral with Honkai Star Rail, and we actually get some more realistic numbers to look at. And player feedback is important, so let me know in the comments down below what you think about this whole situation, whether you've quit the game, whether you haven't quit the game, what you feel about Honkai Star Rail in general. I apologize again for being sick. Hopefully I can actually come back now, but I gotta be careful about losing my voice. Anyways, if you guys like this kind of stuff, consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.